Hey Lautaro, this is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. I hope you're doing good. I got your email. I'm going to take a look at three tickers for you today. We're going to take a look at Ferrari, which is RACE. We're going to take a look at the BlackRock Capital and Income Enhanced Capital and Income Fund, ticker CII, and then we're going to take a look at lumber prices, basically the lumber continuous contract, ticker money sign LUMBER. So first up, we're going to take a look at race here. We're going to start obviously by looking at all data since its inception back in 2015, and this guy has been a stud overall, as you can see. Basically, only two types of price action since it found a low in 2016, and what we're seeing is a nice large five-wave advance, super clear, very obvious into the 2018 high. Once it completed that five-wave advance, it gave us a nice ABC three-wave pullback. Retraced a Fibonacci portion, as you can see by the move into this yellow area. Once it did that, once it completed a three-wave move, complete with an ending C wave down, price has turned to the upside again and resumed trendy upside movement. First wave up here, five-wave move, an ABC pullback for wave two. A large bounce, looks like it nearly doubled its value off the 2020 low into the late 2020 high as a third wave in my view, and then since then has been in a fourth wave pullback. So this guy looks bullish to me overall. It looks like it's in an incomplete trendy up move, should be expected to continue on the long-term time frame. For us, more pertinently, at least in my view, is what's happening on the shorter term time frames and how you might be able to trade that. So let's go ahead and zoom in just on the price action off this late 2018 low. So here is that advance. I wanted to provide a little more detail of the trendy nature of this move here. You can see wave one, clear five-wave move, wave two, a very clear ABC pullback, and then again a nice five-wave move in 2020 for wave three. So we're looking for the completion of a five-wave move off this 2018 low. It does not look like we're there yet. The biggest question, and this is a question that pops up with a lot of the stuff we've been analyzing lately, is the 2021 pullback complete yet? In most cases, that pullback is a fourth wave. That's the case here for Ferrari. So we need to look and see look at this price action a little bit closer to determine if this fourth wave has completed or what will tell us if it's completed from here. So, but ultimately, we're expecting this big advance to take a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move before any type of larger pullback completes. So in that respect, higher prices are expected on race. We want to see it ultimately stay above about 169 here, 168. That's the lower end of this yellow Fibonacci support area. As long as it does that, regardless of whether wave 4 is over or not, it's going to remain bullish and look like it's headed higher. So that said, let's go ahead and zoom in on the 2021 price action. A case can be made that wave 4 completed. It'd be a pretty small move if it did in terms of time, but the price action we're seeing off of March low is pretty constructive and impressive. You can see that initial up leg off of March low does look like a nice five-wave move, creating the potential that this completed, that wave 4 completed at March's low. Since then, we've seen some back and forth price action. Largely looks like counter trend price movement ahead of higher prices. So I think in that respect, it looks bullish, but we don't want to see it move much below May's low here. If it does, we would have to conclude that wave 4 has not yet completed and that would probably retest March's low before price turns higher. If it can remain strong, if it can stay above May's low, I think the expectation can be that wave 5 has resumed and that higher prices are coming right away. So bullish on race, need to see it stay above May's low to remain bullish on the near-term time frame. If it moves below May's low, we'll have to think it's a larger pullback in 2021, simply delaying the ultimate resumption of the advance in a wave 5 up. So there's that one. Let's go ahead and move on now to CII, which is the BlackRock Enhanced Capital and Income Fund. Here we go. All right, here's CII. This one follows a pretty similar path to a lot of things we've seen out there, a lot of things we've analyzed. Had some price action since its inception back in 2004, a little up and down action. But the real action really started in late 2008 when a lot of things began moving to the upside. A lot of things started in early 2009. This guy happened to start in late 2008. But it's given us a very clear five-wave advance over that time. You see a nice first wave up here, some kind of funky back and forth action for a second wave, and then a very clear five-wave move for wave 3, and then another kind of funky, large, expanded counter trend pullback, but then once it put in a low in 2020. has really taken off to the upside and given us a very strong, purposeful move since then. Overall, that advance off the 2008 low looks like a large 5-wave move. It's not over yet. It's probably getting closer to a very important high based on a completed 5-wave pattern off of that low. But as is, higher prices have to be expected on this time frame. This level isn't very close, but the level that would be a dead giveaway to indicate that the advance off the 2008 low is over would be a move below 1325. So just keep that in mind. Not super tradable information, but just an important level to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and zoom in on price action off the 2020 low. Here it is. This is what we're looking at here. We had a first wave up, a 3-wave pullback for wave 2 in September and October, a 3rd wave up, and it appears that we are currently in a 4th wave with so many other things grinding in 2021. Looks like some choppy sideways action. May or may not be over. Super common theme with a lot of these videos. We'll see what happens. We'll take a closer look at that. But ultimately, we should see a larger 5-wave advance form. So once this 4th wave completes, whether it has yet or not, we should get a nice 5th wave up. So that's what we're trying to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this price action in 2021 to see what we need to be watching from here. If wave 4 completed, it was a funky move like you can see here, kind of a running 4th wave ABC correction, giving way to wave 5 up now. This is a super funky price labeling. I would normally not even suggest something like this. The only thing is we've seen things that have given us this exact type of looking pullback, such as QQQ. This is almost exactly what it looks like on QQQ, and it does appear that wave 4 completed. I'm not sure here. We'll find out soon enough. If wave 4 completed at June's low in a truncation, CII will stay above 2025 at all times. If it moves below there, we would have to conclude that a larger 4th wave pullback is going to play out, probably pushing CII back towards May's low before this guy is ready to resume its overall uptrend. That is the key level. Either way, you have to be bullish. If it stays above 20.25 in the short term, then you can stay bullish right away. But if it moves below there, you'd have to expect a revisit of May's low before the uptrend resumes. So there's CII. We got one more for you. Let's take a look at lumber. This is it. This is the lumber continuous contract. Let's see. Our data dates back to 2006. It's not the cleanest price action. Obviously, this has been something that's been in the news lately, so it's worth taking a look at. But overall, it's pretty hard to label this, and I never look for excuses, but I'm not positive that price movement on lumber will necessarily slot into a nice Elliott wave pattern. Despite that, I'm here to analyze whatever it is you send my way, so I'm going to do my best. If we look at the advance off the 2009 low into the 2013 high, choppy move, no obvious trendy labeling on this guy. Looks kind of like a leading diagonal or something in that variety, so nothing wrong with that. The pullback that happened in 2013 and 2015, very clear ABC move, retraced a little more than 61.8% of this up leg here, and then price turned higher. Off of that low, you get yourself a general 5-wave advance. Once it completed, again, you get a nice ABC pullback that retraced a little bit more than 61.8% before price turned higher. So there seems to be a theme in that respect. The advance in 2020 into the 2021 high, not the super clearest move in the world, but it does generally look like a trendy 5-wave move. It was absolutely massive. Once it completed, price reversed and has so far retraced a little bit more than 61.8%, which would have been right at the lower end of this yellow support area. So on a larger time frame, while the overall pattern doesn't really fit some nice 5-wave form, we can see that each individual leg tends to look trendy, and each individual pullback tends to look like an ABC move that is retraced a bit more than 61.8% of the previous up leg. So in that respect, it has carved out a very nice progressive up move. I'm not sure that it'll continue. Going from 300 to 1700 is a big jump. That's something we need to take a little bit closer look at, and here we do that. This is the advance in 2020 into the 2021 high. Generally looks like a 5-wave move. Pretty hard to label and be super confident about it, but generally it's a 5-wave move, and it was a huge gain, so we tend to think it's a trendy move in that respect. It's clearly completed that up leg in 2020 with the massive pullback we are currently seeing. But this guy is worth keeping an eye on. It's hard to say if this is the end, just a correction, what this is, but we do have some key levels to guide the way. So If lumber moves above 1200 at any point, we'd have to conclude that this pullback is a counter trend move and that the progression upward will continue. So 1200 is that level. Not super close, but what do you expect? I mean, it went from 1700 and set to 700 in just a couple months, so that's worth keeping an eye on. The next level we want to keep an eye on is 700, which is just a low that was just recently recorded. If price moves below there, I'd have to think this down leg is a trendy 5-wave move, and in that regard I would think that this progression upward is over and that prices will become more normal, and as long as it's trading below 1200 at that point, we would expect it to continue lower from there. So those are the levels I would be watching. Again, I'm not super confident that this follows a super clear Elliott wave pattern. There are some things that seem to sync up as far as having 5-wave up moves, counter trend pullbacks that retrace a little more than 61.8%, so on and so forth. But as is, I think it's a point here where we need to see what the next move is. A move above 1200 would indicate that lumber has more upside in it. A move below 700 would suggest that this is the start of a bigger descent because downside action would then be trendy. So, Lautaro, I hope that's helpful. As you know, this is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. Have a great day, and we will talk to you very soon. Take care.